What's up, fam? It's Homie Bigg Vic. We back in here with another video, and guess what? Today we are talking about Amazon relay loads and DAT loads, and I want to give you guys kind of like a little roadmap that you should be following when you're booking your loads, because I made some of the biggest mistakes when I first started 2.5 years ago when I got in this logistics transportation industry. And I used to really look at how much the load was paying versus the rate per mile. So I was looking at the bigger numbers versus what the load was actually, paying. I wasn't thinking about my numbers. I wasn't thinking about my cost per mile. I was just booking loads, doing what a lot of you guys are doing, just booking loads and trying to make some money. I mean, it's natural, especially when you don't know exactly how you should be, booking your loads. So what I want to do is, I'm over here on Amazon Relay's load board. I'm going to show you something. So let's take a look at this first load right here. We got this is a postal route. This load right here is an early access load. It was an early access load. It is paying $2.40 a mile. The biggest mistake I made with Amazon Relay was when I was booking loads, I was looking at this top number right here. Let me pause this screen right here. I was looking at this top number right here. So I would see $364, 151 miles. And I was like, oh man, let's book it. Let's book it. Right. But what I didn't realize was that $2.40 a mile, that is only paying me for going one direction. I'm only going one way with Amazon Relay loads. Right. So for box trucks, they don't particularly do round trip loads. So when you're booking a load with Amazon, you're just getting paid for going one way. So if you are 151 miles away from this pickup location, which is for in this instance, CLT 9 Charlotte, right, which is 11 miles from me, I'm going 151 miles. Right, one way. So when I drop that off, I'm 151 miles out from where I live, which means I have to I got to get back home. Right. So if I don't have anything bringing me back, this is where a lot of people lose it at. They don't understand this part. If I don't have anything bringing me back home, it's for the new people. I know some of you veterans already know this stuff, but for the newer people, if I don't have any freight bringing me back to the crib after I pick up this load, I'm not getting paid $2.40 a mile. I'm getting paid $1.20 per mile round trip. Right? So it's half of what you see posted right here, $2.40 a mile. Now, let's switch this around. Let's say if I was in Burnsville, North Carolina at the end of my trip, and I decided to stay in that area, right? And then pick up another load, not necessarily from Amazon, but if I was to hang out there and catch another load, if I still have some hours of service left, if I swung over here to DAT load board and found another load that was still either moving in that same direction or potentially bringing me back home, then that's when $2.40 a mile would make sense for me. If that's not the case, you're gonna have to think really hard if that load is gonna make sense for you to book. And that's not the only factor. You'll also have to figure out what your cost per mile is to operate your vehicle. Rental prices are crazy. So if your rental rates are outrageous, $2.40 might not make it for you. You see what I'm saying? You're gonna have to really do a lot of round trip loads, or you're gonna have to really figure some things out. So let's say you did run some loads in the daytime. Let's say you did run some short routes in the daytime, non-Amazon loads. Like you just caught some loads off the other apps, maybe some final miles type of loads, Home Depot, Lowe's, something like that. You ran in the daytime and you just happened to catch some Amazon stuff at night, then maybe something like that will work out for you. You see what I'm saying? Because you've already ran earlier in the day and made some money. That was short runs. But when you're going longer distances, right? You're going longer distances with a lower paying rate per mile, then you got to make the decision, am I going to be in profit after I do a round trip with this load? Now, if you don't mind only making $100 or $150 a day after all your trip miles and you've met all your expenses, then a load like that may work for you. But if you're somebody where your cost per mile to operate is a little higher on the upper end, you got car notes, you putting back maintenance fees to the side, and your insurance is a little higher, then $2.40 may not be what's going to work for you for a round trip load. But on the flip side, if you decided to take something like $2.40 per mile and you really mapped out how you look at Amazon and studied your area, which I talk about all the time inside of my program, study your load board. If you have Amazon Relay Access, study your areas, study the surrounding areas around you. That's going to make the difference between you only booking one-way loads or even quarterbacking some loads in another city, or maybe you caught some Amazon to Amazon routes and you catch those loads and you find those loads to bring you back home or get you closer to home, maybe an hour out from the crib or 30 minutes away from home. Then in that scenario, you're going to be winning playing the Amazon Relay game just off the load board, just off the spot market. And then if you figure out and you start mastering the poster truck feature in your area, getting paid what you actually want to make going one way, but it's paying you for going round trip, then the game changes for you. Let me jump over here to DAT real quick. So the difference is with DAT, a majority of the loads on DAT, especially in the daytime, you can catch some short routes. You can find some shorter routes, but I know for dry box trucks, just straight off the rip, you're going to be negotiating a lot of partial rates, and you're not going to be getting paid for full truckloads. So a lot of times you'll see these shorter distances where brokers are offering up partial rates, but you want to get paid a full truckload price. That's not going to happen, because a broker is already expecting you to put more freight with that partial load. So I know you want to spaz out when you're looking at a partial load and the broker's like, yeah, we only giving, X amount of dollars for going those miles right there because it's just a partial load. It's only 5 feet of space that we're using on your truck. So if you don't get nothing else on that truck going that distance, then that's not going to be the broker's fault. That's going to be your fault. You shouldn't have booked that load if you knew you couldn't put nothing else with that. That's why it's super important to get on that load board super early to start booking your freight. You want to get on that board early, especially if you're not doing contract freight and you're just doing more spot market freight, right? So if that's you need to be on the load board early, booking them loads. Or if you have a dispatcher working their magic for you on their end and trying to pick up partial loads for you. If I had to tell my dispatcher anything, I would say, hey, look, we're looking for partial loads. We want to go from this particular location to this location, right? So once we secure that first load, maybe a 5 feet partial, boom, we need to start looking for the next partial to put on that truck. This is where you're going to really maximize the space that's available on your truck versus doing a full truckload. So if you're doing a full truckload, then you got to get paid full truckload prices. You don't want to max out your truck for peanuts. You don't want to max out for peanuts. And you definitely want to be in an area or taking your truck to an area where the freight is paying better. Instead of complaining about it, let's put the truck in the area where the money is, we can make the money at. Not sitting back crying, leaving posts on all these videos on YouTube. Ain't no money in trucking, bro. It's money in trucking. You just not going to where it's at. That's all. If you haven't tapped in to any of my programs, I just opened up 3 new slots. So if you're somebody that's looking for mentorship, there'll be a link down below in the description box. I just added payment plans. So if you guys want to use Klarna or Afterpay, that's also a new option. That also goes for my Box Truck Freedom program as well. If you were saying you didn't have it right now, or could I split the payments up, bro, you don't have no excuses now. Make that a caption right there. It's money in trucking. You're just not going where the money is at. Master the load board. Become a master at partials. Everybody says it's not easy to do partials, Bigg Vic. It's not easy. If you're going a longer distance, then partials are going to make sense. If I know I'm going from Carolina to Texas, or from Carolina to St. Louis, Missouri, or Ohio, or I'm going to Minneapolis, Minnesota, or, you know, somewhere in that Midwest, I'm up early, game face on. I'm looking for partials. Once I lock in that first partial, I'm going right up in my search. I'm gonna put in my pickup location and my drop-off location. I'm putting on both ends. I'm doing within 150 to maybe 200 mile radius from my origin and my destination. So everything I'm now looking at on the load board, I'm looking for partials. I'm setting all my filters for nothing but partials now, because I already locked in my first load. I'm giving y'all a lot of game right now. Like if you brand new and you just hearing this, you should be clapping right now. You should be smashing that thumbs up button, because I ain't asking you for no money. If you're watching the video, you should listen to what I'm telling you. There's a lot of people not complaining about the freight rates right now. There's a lot of people out here eating right now. I'm telling y'all, it's a lot of people still eating. It's a lot of people coming in and they're going out faster than they came in, because a lot of them don't understand the strategies that it takes to really keep your truck booked and busy. I just want to give y'all a few tips, man. I'm not going to hold y'all that long. If this makes sense to you, drop a comment down below. And until I drop the next video, you already know what it is. Always hustle. Never stop growing. It's the homie Bigg Vic TV. Let's go. Let's get it. Let's eat.